All right. I think we're live right now. So hope everybody's doing well. Let's get the disclaimers out of the way. We'll get right into it. We got a couple of people in here commenting already. So this is a weekly live broadcast, most Thursday evenings, 7 o'clock Central. This is where I'm at. Occasionally I can't do it because something comes up or whatever. But usually I'm here 7 o'clock Central Thursday evening. So if you have a comment or a question that's been unanswered, because I haven't been good at answering comments, this is probably the best place to do it. I try to respond to every comment that comes in during the live broadcast itself, in the chat itself, not posted under the video afterwards. I've been so busy lately, and for a while now, I've kind of gotten out of the habit of answering comments on videos, and I apologize. I'll try to get back into that at some point, but right now, I've not been very good at it, so this is the best place to do it. This is no topic planned. Just ask me anything. You guys control the way the conversation goes. Just keep it from my point of view anyway. So let's just there. That's probably a little bit better. And it looks like it might be a little bit dark. If it's too dark, let me know. I'll turn the lights up a little bit, but otherwise we'll jump right into it. Emergency prep guy from Idaho. Good to see you. Looking forward to the discussion. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys. Hey, Marty from West Virginia. 12 gauge from Mountain View, Arkansas. Good to see you. I'm doing well. Thank you. Hopefully you are too. Hello, Jam and Mike. Marty, I'm doing well. Thank you. Hopefully you are too. And we got Jesse Mills here, says good evening to everybody. And Quail Town says, hey, Chris, hope all is well. Did you ever get the replacement for your grow tent? You know, I have not followed up on that. I need to do that. Let me see what I can. Let me set a reminder here. Good point. Good. Thank you for reminding me about that. I keep forgetting about it. All right. So it looks fine. Okay, good. Thank you. And Joe from Hawaii. Awesome. Good to see you, Joe. Thanks for joining us. Justin from Iowa. Good to see you. Joy from Western Oregon. Good to see you as well. All right. We just kind of came to the end of the comments all of a sudden. How many people we got in here so far? 16 people in here. We're getting there. Ed. Hey, Ed got Bates here. Good to see you, Ed. While we're waiting on some more comments to come in. No, that grow tent, the greenhouse I bought, you know, I have not followed up on. I need to do that. So I appreciate the reminder on that. And it was okay. I mean, it held up fairly well. If you don't have really high winds like we get around here, it may do a good job for you. But me, it just kind of, we got a couple of storms that came through, and I just couldn't keep it from. It basically just, I mean, it didn't completely tear apart, but it's got holes in it. It's ripped in places. Just couldn't hold up. Justin says I took off 30 pounds of tomatoes this week. Oh, I am jealous. This is the worst gardening season I've ever had. Nothing's doing that well. My sister's garden looks great, which is rare because usually mine looks great. Hers is kind of struggling a little bit, but actually the last couple of years, hers has looked pretty good, but hers looks great this year. Mine looks terrible. So I did a couple of things wrong, but we've talked about those before. And a couple of things. One of the things I did is I didn't put any fresh compost down this year. I do that pretty much every year. And this year I just got, I guess, lazy. I don't have a better excuse for it. Didn't put any down on the beds themselves. Thought, well, it'll be all right for one season. That's probably my big issue that I have with them. The other issue though is it was so hot, so fast. I mean, it was cold and rainy way later than it should have been, and then it just turned immediately hot, like 100 degrees immediately, and that was rough too. But anyway, it'll be okay. We'll get through it. Jupiter says, hey, Chris, just had to pop in here and let you know that my mortgage lifters are finally getting ripe, and they're great. Thank you so much for your recommendation. Yeah, I like the mortgage lifters quite a bit. Congratulations on that. I don't have any slicer tomatoes anywhere near ripe. I got some paste tomatoes, but they're not coming on super strong, so it's just like 2 or 3 that are coming ripe, not enough to really put together and can. I canned 1 jar of cucumbers, 1 jar, because that was all I had. I mean, just nothing's coming on real strong yet. Tim says, hello from Nebraska. I ordered eggs from my shire April 13 and still have not received them. Well, I mean, follow up with them. They're probably back ordered a little bit. I don't know if they gave you an exact date as to when you're going to get them yet or not. The last I checked, it was like it was a month or 2 out, couple of months out anyway, before they were able to fulfill the orders. But Zach's a real responsive guy. Reach out to him. He'll answer your questions. He'll tell you where they're at. So, I mean, I can't because I don't know, but he will respond to you. All right, 12 gauge. Anyone else have trouble with Japanese beetles? Oh, man, if you're having problems with Japanese beetles, Japanese beetle traps, the bags, they're in my Amazon shop, so you can go check there and see what I'm talking about. But they work. They do a really good job of taking care of them. And I'll just tell you a little bit. Yeah, Rebecca's saying the same thing. Japanese beetles eating everything I have. Ed wants to know if quail will eat Japanese beetles. I don't know if they will or not. I've never tried to feed them to them. But seriously, the bag traps for Japanese beetles work really, really well. It's a pheromone trap. So it's got a little plastic thing you kind of connect. It kind of forms a cross like this. The bag hangs off of that, and it's a V-shaped bag. And then you put the pheromone trap right there. And what happens is the beetles go for that pheromone trap, fall into the bag, and they can't get out. So I will tell you what do you call the what you may see online is people saying, well, they draw in the beetles from everywhere. And what I say to that is, who cares? Kill them all. They are invasive. They're not supposed to be here. Trap them all. And my experience with them is the first year I used them, and I can see why people would say this, because the first year I used them, it filled that bag up in no time. I mean, it was like a week and a half. The bag was full. I had to throw it away, put another bag up. And then it was like another week and a half, 2 weeks. It was full again, threw it away, put another bag up. And then it was like, I don't know, I went through 3 or 4 bags in a season because they were just filling up with Japanese beetles. And I was having to throw them away, start a new one. And it's kind of gross, but, you know, it does save your plants. The next year I put them out, it was way less. It was like maybe I went through 2 bags, maybe 3 the entire season. The next year I went through like maybe 1 or 2 bags. And now I didn't even put a bag out last year. I didn't see a single Japanese beetle. This year I've seen a few, and I put a bag out, and it's been out for a month and a half, and it's like this full. It's hardly any in it. There are some Japanese beetles around, but not very many. I mean, it really has reduced the population of them considerably over time. So they are worth getting, investing in, and, you know, save all your stuff. They do a good job. Tony from Toronto, good to see you. And who's that? Was Central? I don't know. Is that Washington, South Central? I don't know what that is. It says, praise God. I agree. I'm not sure what you're saying, praise God, too, if something specific or just declaring praise God, but I agree. Praise God. Absolutely. Miss Kitty from Utah, good to see you. Rebecca says your chickens won't eat the Japanese beetles. Yeah, I kind of doubt my quail would. Either ducks might, but I don't know. I don't even know about that for sure. Hey, Boris, good to see you. Jupiter wants to know, have you ever canned the mortgage lifters? No, I grow those as a slicing tomato. I can primarily paste tomatoes because they have less seeds. They're a little bit easier. I don't mind seeds when I'm eating a tomato, but for some reason when I can tomatoes, all those seeds in there, I don't know, they just don't go well in the sauce. They bother me. I always have to take them out anyway, and there's just so much water in a slicing tomato. I prefer paste tomatoes for canning. So I've never really canned a mortgage lifter red before. I mean, you can try it. I mean, there's no reason you can't, but to me, they're not ideal for canning. All right. Oh, look at that. Sage Wolf says quail will eat Japanese beetles. Okay. Oh, and 12 gauge, you're welcome, by the way. Ed says everyone is slammed with orders for eggs, and everyone and their cousin's mother wants them. Yeah, well, that may be, but that's okay. Time and Timber Homestead. It's Jasmine. I kind of am starting to make that connection now. Good to see you, Jasmine. Thanks for joining. Ed. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 12 gauge. Talking to Ed. I'll let you guys. Wait, I think my quail would run from the beetles. Oh, yeah, you're probably right. And Sage says, yeah, he tried the other day and they eat them. Okay, nice. I didn't think they would, but yeah, interesting. I may have to try it. Joyce says, I've gotten some interest in my quail from a local raw dog food company. Awesome. If you can produce enough, that may be pretty profitable for you. So good luck. Congratulations. Justin says, I can't read the bottom of your shirt. What shirt am I wearing today? Oh, I've got another one just like this. Here, I'll stand up and let you read it. I've got another one just like this, but it's getting old. My wife bought me a new one. It says, if guns kill people, then I guess pencils misspell words, cars drive drunk, and spoons make people fat. That's not my reason for being fat. I have other reasons. And it doesn't have to do with spoons, really. But anyway, that's the whole point of the shirt, is it's not the guns that kill people. It's people that kill people. Guns just a tool. I should get on soapbox there. I'm going to make a divisive stance if I do, but we have bigger problems than, it's not the guns. There's a bigger problem in this country, in the world, really. Not just, that's why we need a savior. All right. Glock Holiday says, hey, Chris, thank you for your time answering questions. I had to move, so I sold my rabbits. I'm going to look into getting quail this time. Awesome. I'm looking at getting some new rabbits sometime soon. And anyway, sorry, I got distracted by another comment. All right, Jasmine Time and Timber Homestead says, Chris, we added 6 Nigerian dwarfs to our homestead, and they are doing an incredible job working through our brambles and brush. Looking forward to more cleared land for homestead projects soon. Yeah, goats are great for that for sure. I like goats. I kind of wish I had some, but not really set up for them, so that'll have to wait. Central Washington Central. So I'm not sure what the S stands for then. WAS Central. Anyway, Joe says, do you have RHD virus in your area? It showed up even way out here on a farm in Maui in a pet rabbit. Oh, no. No, I haven't heard of it being anywhere near here. But, it's just eventually probably just time. It'll get here eventually, I'm guessing. Hey, Verna, good to see you. Tim says, would like to see a new rabbit video if you still have any. I don't have any rabbits right now. I'm working on it. I will get more rabbits. We'll do more rabbit videos. I just haven't found a good rabbit source yet. I've got one that I'm working on right now for some pedigree silver foxes. So those may be coming soon, hopefully. We'll see. And I've forgotten who it is that I forgot the name already. He may be in the live broadcast tonight. Who knows? Alicia says, a lot of my lettuce and brassicas and some beets and radishes have bolted. If I just leave them, will they go to seed and seed the garden plot again? They might. It's probably unlikely that the conditions will be just right for them, but it's possible. Like you said, your radishes and things like that, when it's super hot out, that's pretty much what they want to do. They just want to bolt. So it's difficult to grow those in the heat for sure. But, you never know. They will go to seed if you just leave them. Whether they'll reseed the garden and sprout up, the conditions have to be right for them. My concern with the lettuce and things like that, lettuce seed doesn't like to be buried very deep. So my concern would be that it would get buried too deep and then it may not sprout at that point when the conditions are right for it. But you never know. It may be worth trying. See. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's already bolted. Unless you're going to put something else in its place, why not just leave it and see what happens? Jesse says, hey, Verna, hope everything is all right. I'm not sure. Is there something going on, Verna? If there isn't, or if there is, then I hope it's all right too. Verna says, hey, Jesse, Ed, 12 gauge and all. Nicholas, what's the youngest quail can go outside in the coop in South Florida? So it's hot. Probably about 2 weeks old, roughly. When it's hot out and it doesn't get down below like 75 at night, I tend to put them out at about 2.5 weeks. Verna's saying 3 weeks. That's probably a good goal too. But as soon as you get them weaned off the heat lamps, and when they're about 2 weeks old, maybe just a little over, should be fully feathered out at that point. And you can start weaning them off and get them off the heat lamp, and then they just go right outside. It's 95 degrees during the day anyway. Only getting down to like 78, 79 at night. The temperature's fine. They can go right outside. And at 3 weeks, for sure, they can go outside. Now, in the wintertime, if it's cold out, I keep them inside till they're about 4 or 5 weeks old. Let them get a little bit more bulk to them. All right, Jasmine says, Chris, have you experienced with blister beetles in the garden? My mom's neighbor and friends in Seymour, Ava area are fighting them. Apparently, they're eat like grasshoppers and toxic to predators. No, I don't think I have, actually. Let me look that up because I've heard of, but not real familiar with that. There it is. First thing, blister beetles. I may have seen a few of those here and there. They look very, very familiar to me, but it's never been a big problem for me. So I don't know. I don't know the best solution for them. Let's see if there's a blister beetle. It says, don't touch them. I can imagine. That's one of those my wife would give me. I I don't worry about, like, we go out and collect squash bugs off the plants. I just pick them up and throw them in a bucket of soapy water. My wife's all like, ooh, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. And I laugh at her for it. This would be one that I'd touch and then I'd be sorry I touched it. Let's see. What's the recommendation for controlling blister beetles? I don't know. All I'm seeing is like big ag stuff, spraying your crops regularly for this stuff. I'd have to dig into that a little bit more to find a solution for you that doesn't revolve around like, 7 dust or something like broad spectrum pesticide type stuff. I don't know what it is. Sorry, I don't have experience with that one. All right. Blast, I think it is. Blast Coloca. Hopefully I got it right. It says I use 1/2 by 1/2 coated wire. I still get bumblefoot. Any ideas? Oh boy, that's weird. I don't have any problems with bumblefoot in my birds, and I don't use coated wire at all. There's got to be something in there that's causing abrasions and causing them to get debris inside that cut on their foot, and is causing the infections. And it may be that you've got coated wire, but maybe there's a section of it that's a little rough or something like that. So you might check that. Make sure that maybe there's a part where the coating is sticking up a little bit, creates a point. They're cutting their foot on. I don't know. That's the only things I can think of right offhand. But I don't really know. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say without seeing the actual cage, inspecting the environment. There's something that's causing them to, cut their foot, and it's getting debris inside and it's getting infected. That's what bumblefoot is. So it's got to be something in the cage. I don't know what it would be exactly. You're going to have to look around. Sorry, I can't give you an exact answer on that one. I don't know. Justin says, I did some rabbit poo tea for my garden. It's good fertilizer. Awesome. Washington Central says I fixed it. Made it Washington Central. You didn't have to do that. I would have figured it out eventually. You just had to tell me, but that makes sense. WAS is Washington. I just hadn't seen it. But that's easier to say, Washington Central, than Was Central. I have a hard time with that one. Yeah, Verna's telling you, Bloss, I think it is. Blast, maybe? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Says, rub your hand around the cage. You'll find where the problems are. Yeah, that's probably a good suggestion. Alicia says, I was thinking about using the plot where the thing's bolted as a compost area for my rabbit manure. I'm in zone 5B, so it's not too hot here now. So I'll try and see if that happens. Okay, well, there you go. You got a good plan for it. I think that's a good idea. Hey, Nicholas, good to see you. Brandon from Whiskey Tango Farms is here. Good to see you. So sorry I'm late. You already know, man, we don't take attendance here. You don't have to apologize for that. Jupiter says we've been putting our chicks outside at 2 weeks, and they're doing great. It got down to 65 the other night, but they didn't mind one bit. Nice to know. The key is really make sure that they are feathered out at that point. They should be feathered out by 2 weeks old, but sometimes they're a little bit late to it, and it may take a little bit longer, like 2.5 weeks or something. But that's the key, really. All right, Whiskey Tango Farm says, hello, friends. Sorry we're late. We were wrangling ducks. Yeah, messy business. I bet it is. A bunch of people saying hi to you guys. I'll let you guys talk to each other. It's fine. Oh, look at that. There's a $2 super chat. How did I miss that coming through from Washington Central? I'm sorry. Did you have a question that goes along with that? I don't see a question, but I'll get to it if you ask one. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Ed says herding ducks like herding cats, right? Hey, Joe's got a good idea too. He says for the bumblefoot, check the J clips for points of rough spots. That's a good idea if you've got J clips on them. I didn't even think about that because I staple mine to the frame and I don't have any J clips, but that could be definitely a point where you could have problems for sure. So Whiskey Tango Farm says, yeah, our corgi herds the ducks into the pen when they're out, but I wanted to catch one. So then I got thanked by getting pooped on. Yeah, that's what ducks do. Ducks are messy. Jesse says, hey, Brandon and Kristen, sorry I missed you last night. Was building a couple of brooders and completely spaced it was Wednesday. Hey, I get how that goes. S. McKee says, I make about 100 devil quail eggs tomorrow. I think I'm nuts. Yeah, 100. That's a lot to get done for sure, but they sure are good. Lisa wants to know if I'm getting rabbits. That is the plan. I'm just looking for some good rabbits and, some time to go get them because everything I found so far has been just, an hour or two away. And it's hard for me to Sorry, let me scroll up a little bit so the comments don't get away from me. It's hard for me to work that time out. I mean, I work a full-time job during the week, so it's hard for me to get away during the week. On the weekends, I got so much going on. I mean, if you're talking even just an hour away is not too far. I could probably make that. But if you're talking like an hour and a half or more away, I mean, that's 3 hours worth of drive time already, plus the time I spend there. And if you guys have ever talked to me, you know I'm a talker. I mean, I sit down and start talking to somebody, I can burn 2 or 3 hours just talking to complete strangers. So it's, I got to figure if I'm going to go pick up some rabbits from somebody, I don't want to just drive out there. I feel rude just driving out there, showing up. Okay, here's the money, here's rabbits, thanks, bye, and leaving. I'm going to sit there and talk to them as long as they want to talk to me. And that's probably another at least hour and a half. So, you're looking at 4 or 5 hours at least on a Saturday or a Sunday or something like that. And that's tough to get away for that long. But it'll work out eventually. I'll come across some. I've got to make a trip to St. Louis here in August. So, maybe there's some options there. I've got somebody that is one of my viewers who was on the live broadcast last week, reached out to me and has got pedigree silver fox. Sounds like a good deal. He's in West Plains, which is a little ways away. It's a little too far for me to make a drive. Not really on the St. Louis route, but he said he may be coming towards the Joplin area sometime soon. If he does, that'll work out. Anyway, Jasmine wants to know, when are you planning on planting your garlic? I usually plant that like mid-September-ish, somewhere right around in there. All I'm looking to do is to get it to sprout and get up about that tall before the frost hits. That's really about it. If it's done that, then it's good to go. So yeah, it'll be probably mid-September, early September, somewhere around in there. Where are we at here? No, I didn't plant. Brandon's saying I think he did already. No, I haven't planted garlic for the year. I harvested garlic. I harvested that probably 3 weeks ago, something like that, from last year's planting. I'm looking for a good strain of garlic, a really strong garlic. All the garlic I've been growing, and it says, and Whiskey Tango wants to know, do you plant hardneck or softneck garlic when you're at it? Right now, what I've got is hardneck garlic. I'm not really too picky on that. I do kind of, I think, prefer the hardneck garlic a little bit, just from the standpoint of it's easier for me to store. I don't, I tend to store my garlic. If you guys have seen my videos, I've done videos on, braiding garlic or tying it up. And I like the hard neck, the way it looks when it hangs. I just think it looks better than the soft neck all braided up. So I do like the hard neck for that reason, but I'm not too picky. I'm just looking for something that's a good, strong garlic. Everything I grow, it just seems like it's just not super strong. And you got to use, 2 or 3 heads of garlic in a dish to even taste it. And I like garlic quite a bit. All right, where are we going? Here we go. Christine says, question, how long do quail lay before they stop laying? I'm thinking what you're asking me is like, how old are they, before they stop laying? It's fairly old now. I know Zach from My Shire Farm has done some videos on that. And when he talks about, I think he says 18 months or something, their production really starts to drop off. Now, I tend to get a little bit more out of mine than that, but I'm also not necessarily going quite as intense as what he's going in most of his cases. But I would say probably somewhere around 2 years, and they don't just shut down immediately. They just start slowing down. So instead of getting an egg a day, you may get maybe an egg one day and not one for 2 days. And then you'll get one 2 days in a row and then nothing for another 3 days. And then, it's just kind of sporadic at that point. And then that, but that's usually somewhere right around 2 years. And I think it probably also depends on whether you keep lights on them, keep them laying all winter long. I think they will lay longer if you don't. I don't have hard numbers on that because sometimes I keep lights on them, sometimes I don't. I don't keep super close track on how old all my birds are. But that's, like I said, right around 2 years, you should be able to expect that. If you want the best results possible and you gotta have eggs all the time, yeah, it's probably best practice to replace your breeders about at least once every 18 months or so. Heather says your videos have helped me convince my husband to add quail in the spring. We have a few projects to finish, and then it's quail time. Well, awesome. Congratulations on your upcoming project. Hope it all goes well. I'm sure it will. Alicia says, I have quail. Should start laying in a couple of weeks. I separated the males, but I left one flock rooster, but he stayed small. Should I switch him for a bigger one or will it cause flock issues? If they're not, if your hens aren't laying yet, I'm assuming it's because of age. They're not laying yet, and your roosters aren't crowing yet. It's a good time to go ahead and swap them out. What I would just do is add another rooster in, make sure he's going to get acquainted with all the birds, and then you can remove the other rooster. Give it a week. Make sure he doesn't get beat up too bad or anything like that, and then you can remove the other rooster at that point. But yeah, I would add a bigger one if you have a bigger one, because I always want bigger birds, and why not? S. McKee says, I found that steaming the egg makes them easier to peel. I peeled about 60 of them in less than an hour. Awesome. 60, that's like a minute an egg. That's pretty good, I guess. Hey, look at that 12 gauge. Some of mine are pushing 5 years and still laying almost daily. I know that's not common, though. No, I wouldn't say it's common, but I have some birds. Like I said, I don't keep real close track on exactly how old all my birds are. But yeah, I've definitely got birds that are 2 years old, still laying pretty consistently. So, but that's probably general consensus is at least, right around 2 years is when they're going to start slowing down. Oh, Jasmine wants to know harvest garlic. Well, I think I answered that too already. That's okay. I harvested it about a month ago. What you want to look for when you harvest garlic is when you start getting, it'll send up, what do you call those? The shoot, there's a name for that. What is it called? The garlic piece that comes up with the seed head on it. Don't remember. Anyway, it'll send that up first with the seed head, or will form a seed head if you leave it on there. And you'll know it's something different because it got like a little spear looking thing on the end of it. Somebody's probably already told me. Scape. There we go. Scape. That's what it's called. A garlic scape. Thank you. I knew somebody would get that in there for me. Then what you're looking at is, and you can trim those off. A lot of people do. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I haven't really found it made a huge difference. This year, my garlic heads were pretty small. I didn't trim any of the scapes off when they shot up. And my garlic heads are not really that big. So next year, I'm going to try to trim them all off and see if that makes them a little bit bigger. That's the thought, is that it will put more energy into producing the bulb if you break the scapes off. And you can cook with those and eat those. They have a mild garlic flavor, so you kind of use them like you would scallions or something like that. What you look for is about a third of the leaves to die. They'll start turning brown and falling. When about a third of them are done or are doing that, it's time to harvest your garlic. And don't just go grab it and try to rip it out of the ground. Use a shovel or something to loosen it up, get underneath it, and pull it out so you don't damage it too much. And then you want to stick it somewhere where it can get good airflow, let it cure. I lay mine out inside my rabbit cages right now because there's no rabbits. When I do have rabbits, I usually lay them on top of the rabbit cages. So let them air out there. They've got a good airflow. You can hang them. You can do whatever. You don't want to bunch them all together and hang them. You want good airflow around them. Let them cure for a couple of weeks. I usually go about 3 or 4 weeks. Part of that's because I'm kind of lazy and I don't want to go out there and deal with it right now. But the other part is, it's pretty humid around here. So I give them a little bit of extra time to go ahead and dry out. But they're good and dry now. So they're ready for me to hang up. They've been out there about 3 weeks or so. All right. Whiskey Tango Farm says, what preservation methods do you all use for things that don't store well, as is onions, potatoes? We're looking into getting a dehydrator hopefully soon. Okay, so let's see. I don't usually, I don't do a whole lot of storing with onions. Now, if you're growing like full bulb onions, I usually just leave them in the ground until I'm ready to use them. I very seldom have huge amounts of onions left over. I just don't produce more than what I use because I use a lot of onions. And I don't really worry about producing an abundance of onions. They're pretty cheap at the store. So I put my efforts into growing other things. I do grow some onions because I like them. But I don't put a lot of effort into growing so many that I'm going to have like a year's supply of onions. They're pretty cheap, easy to come by. It's not that big a deal. And I'm not as good at growing onions as I am other things anyway. So I just don't put the efforts into it. Same thing with potatoes, really. I haven't put a lot of effort. I've grown potatoes plenty of times, but it's no more than what we eat. Just keep them in a cool, dry place and we eat them all. They don't last that long. We eat them all pretty quickly because I like potatoes. And it just takes a whole lot of room to grow a whole lot of potatoes. So I don't really have good suggestions on, storing them for long term. Now, I've heard potatoes should do well in like a root cellar. And you guys living up there in Wisconsin, that should be a pretty good thing. I would think would work out pretty well. It doesn't have to be like a true root cellar. You can just dig a hole in the ground and put them down in there and cover them up, and they should do pretty well and store pretty well that way. You'll have to look into that a little bit, but I think the temperatures would be right for you guys to do that. I don't know about dehydrating potatoes, and onions would be good dehydrated. Yeah, that makes sense. You can also chop them up and freeze them. I would dice them up before you freeze them. Onions, that is, because I think my wife's home. Because that way you can just, they're already chopped up. You don't have to thaw out the whole onion. You can just, and thaw them, like flash freeze them, like on a sheet tray or something like that. So it's not one big clump of frozen chopped onion. You can get out however much you want. And if they're chopped up already, you can use them frozen. Just throw them in your pan. I mean, the heat will thaw them and cook them at the same time. So there's a couple of ways you can do onions and potatoes. What else? Well, I don't know what else it's either canning or freezing is how I store pretty much everything. But most things that I freeze, peas I freeze, peppers I'll freeze sometimes. Most things that you freeze, you want to blanch first. Throw them in, a pot of boiling water for 30, 45 seconds. Most things like green beans, if you want to freeze those, I usually can green beans, but you can freeze them. And, they'll turn bright green. I mean, it'll change they'll brighten up quite a bit, and then right into an ice bath. You're not cooking them, you're just blanching them. Same thing with peas. Most of your green vegetables. Now, peppers don't need to be blanched. They can just go straight in the freezer. You can freeze them. Anyway, there's a couple of ideas, so we'll see if that helps or if anybody's got other suggestions. S.O. Swanson says, yeah, Zach says it reduces about 20% average a year after the first year. What? Oh. About the quail reducing their egg production, 20% average a year after the first year. Okay, well, that makes sense. That may be right. Maybe I misunderstood him. I thought he was saying after 18 months they really slow down. I mean, we've talked about it, and maybe I'm just not remembering right. I don't know. And I'm not saying Zach's wrong about anything. It's just you guys have seen the video probably where him and I talk. There's a lot of different ways to do it. You're going to hear contradicting information sometimes from me compared to what Zach would say. It doesn't mean either one of us are necessarily wrong, just a different way of doing things. That's all it is. And Zach, My Shire Farm is who we're talking about. Zach, he's got a huge production. I mean, his motives are not motives. His methods, I guess, are way different than mine, but he's got a much different purpose. I mean, he's breeding for commercial egg production, selling live birds. I don't know if he sells live birds or not, but selling eggs and things like that. He's going to have to take a lot different approach to it than what I'm doing, raising, just a handful of birds in my backyard. Mike says, approximately how many kits does a female rabbit produce in a year? How many years do they produce? Boy, that's a good question. How many kits do they produce in a year? If you get a good meat rabbit, they should produce somewhere close to 10 rabbits per litter, 9 to 10, something like that. You can breed, if you do real intense breeding, you can breed them, when the kits are, about 2 to 3 weeks old. But that's super intense. I don't know that I'd go quite that intense. If you wanted just the maximum production you could get out of it without harming the rabbit, I don't think I'd breed them any sooner than 6 weeks old. So, they're 6 weeks old. You breed her 30 days later, she has another litter, and then another 6 weeks. So you're looking at a litter every 2 months, roughly. You're going to have to do the math to figure that out, but it's a lot. So it's a lot. If you get 10 rabbits every, let's say 3 months for easy, 10, 20, 30, 40 rabbits, 40 kits a year, roughly, something like that. How many years can they produce? Usually you're looking at about 3 to 4 years, somewhere right around in there. Probably 4 years is probably good average on a meat rabbit before you need to replace them. And now they do tend to just shut down. Just all of a sudden they quit. They're just no good for breeding anymore. But it's probably close to about 4 years. And let's see. Whoa, I scrolled too far, lost it. Mike says, can anyone recommend a meat grinder that can handle grinding bones along with meat? I make my own raw dog food. I have a meat grinder, but it's a fairly cheap model. It definitely could not handle grinding bones, so I don't have a recommendation for that. We'll see if somebody does. Jennifer says, my 4-week-old quail have been outside a week and look to be molting. Is that normal? I have only had adults mold. It's hot in Tennessee. It's not incredibly uncommon, but yeah, it's a little rare. It's like I would expect them more to be adults, but if it's super hot out, who knows? Maybe they are. You might check them, make sure they don't have anything like mites or something like that. Probably not. They probably are molting. They're how old? 4 weeks old. Yeah, it could be. It could be molting. I don't know that I'd worry about it too much. All right, where are we at? Let's see. Brandon says the meat brand grinders are great and have a lifetime warranty. Well, there you go. G. Michael wants to know, are you sowing garlic once or twice a year? Just once a year. I sow it in the fall, like I said, about mid-September, and harvest it somewhere around June, July. It just depends on when it's ready. Whiskey Tango says, so are scapes the garlic equivalent of a tomato sucker? It just steals nutrients from the fruit or the harvest. Yeah, well, I got a little gnat flying around me. Well, two things I will say about that. In a sense, yeah, they say that. I don't know that I've ever been able to prove that out if I've gotten much bigger garlic bulbs when I, broke the scapes. And I haven't done like, break them off these, don't break them off those, and a controlled kind of thing. But the thought is, yeah, it steals nutrients from the plant. It puts more effort into trying to produce the seed, which theoretically makes sense. Logically, that seems like it could definitely be possible. So if you take them off, they'll put more energy into producing the bulb and less into making the seed. So if that makes sense. The other thing about tomatoes, I've never noticed suckers like stealing the nutrients from the plant and causing them to not fruit or harvest. There's times where I haven't bothered with removing suckers from my tomato plants, and they do just great. No problems whatsoever. There's other times where I have removed suckers from my tomato plants, and they do great. And then there's times when I've removed them and they don't do so good. So, I don't know that really there's much in that as far as the suckers. What the suckers do, in my opinion, that is kind of bad is that the suckers on a tomato plant make it just incredibly bushy and kind of hard to manage. So, there's good arguments for removing them. Let's see, Brandon. Let's see. Make sure you get a couple of coupon codes. Okay, I'll let you guys talk to each other. Verna says, yes, Kristen, they put their energy into the seeds instead of the bulbs if you don't cut the scapes off. Cheshire Kit says, I lost my buck recently, and the only other buck I have is siblings to some of my does. If I'm planning on processing all the offspring, is it okay to breed them, in your opinion? Yeah, I really don't like to breed brother and sister together, but yeah, if you're going to use them for meat, there's nothing wrong with that. You can definitely do it. You probably won't run into any issues. It'll probably be fine. I would not use them for future breeders, that's for sure. Verna says a freeze dryer is the best way to go with potatoes and anything else. Well, I bet it is, but they're kind of pricey. Marty says, Chris, I'm getting ready to process my first litter, which was born Easter morning. Would you recommend letting them rest in the refrigerator for a couple of days in salt water? Yes, in the refrigerator. Now, you can do it in salt water if you want to. I personally just dry rest mine. I like to dry rest meat. So I put them in the refrigerator for, a couple of days till rigor mortis leaves. Usually that's about 3 days, something like that. Sometimes I'll go for a week. It just depends because, I usually process on a weekend. 3 days is the middle of the week, and I don't really feel like taking care of it whenever I get home from work or something. So I wait till the next weekend. So I usually let them go for about a week, but I like to dry rest. I don't put them in any kind of water, salt water, or anything like that. Just put them in the refrigerator, cover them so they're not just, sitting out there drawing flies. Or well, not, you shouldn't have flies in your refrigerator, but you know what I'm saying. Cover them up, and that's it. All right, 12 gauge says, Chris, potatoes dehydrate very well. You just have to blanch them first. Well, there you go. Yeah, I imagine potatoes would. That would kind of make sense. But anyway, Whiskey Tango Farm says a freeze dryer is 24 times the price of a dehydrator. I want one someday, but it's not in the books this year. Probably not even next year. I know what you're talking about there. Freeze dryers look great for sure. And dehydrators are fantastic. I've got one. I love my dehydrator. Sometimes I make jerky. Sometimes I dehydrate peppers because you can make dehydrated peppers and then crush them up. You got your chili powder basically. If you have a smoker, throw them on the smoker though. Dry them out on the smoker and dehydrate on the smoker because smoked peppers, way better. Or smoked pepper powder, I should say, way better. What else? I don't know. I guess that's about it on that comment. All right, Verna says, took me a year to save for it. No, Now just waiting for it to arrive. Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, they're expensive. Alicia says, just put my biggest quail rooster in with the ladies. Everybody seems to like him so far. Thanks for the advice. I'll remove micro rooster next week if the big boy makes friends. There you go. Yeah, hopefully it all goes well. Hey, Salvador, good to see you. Whiskey Tango Farm says, good to know, 12 gauge, thank you. I have a ball blue canning book. I should probably get a dehydrator book before I kill my family on accident. You're probably not going to, but yeah, you can look up a few videos. Is there even a dehydrator book? I don't know. Does the ball blue book have dehydrating in it? It might have some dehydrating stuff in it. I don't know, but you can just look up how to dehydrate X and it'll tell you the instructions. I didn't know you had to blanch potatoes before dehydrating. That kind of makes sense. Most vegetables, you want to blanch them before you try to store them because it kills all the bacteria that would cause them to rot. But that goes for freezing. I didn't know about dehydrating, but again, makes sense. Whiskey Dingo Farm says, realistically, we would probably just get a tummy ache, so that was slightly exaggerated. Yeah. I tried dehydrating. Hey, give me just 1 second here. What is this? Oh, yeah, this looks legitimate. I just get a text that says it's from some support weird number. It says PayPal service. We have restricted your account. For more information, visit this website. Yeah, not clicking that link. Sorry, I got distracted by that. Where are we at? I dehydrated okra for the first time. I think it was last year, and it was pretty good. Just cut it pretty thin and then seasoned it up. Some with just salt. Some I did a couple of different flavors, and I think just the salt was the best one. But dehydrated it down, made little okra chips out of it, and it's just, it's good. If you like okra, it's great. It's really good. I liked it quite a bit. It just makes a little snack. It's well worth it. Dennis says, evening, everyone. North Central Missouri in the house finally. Good to see you, Dennis. Thanks for joining. Verna says, could also be that they are too hot. What's too hot? I missed it. I'll let you guys figure that out. Mike says, when breeding rabbit, do you have to wait for the female to come into heat like you would breeding dogs? No, rabbits don't go into heat like other animals do, or some other animals do. It's really the act of breeding that causes them to drop their eggs. So no, you don't really have to wait. You'll see some things about like how do you tell when a rabbit's ready to breed. You can look and if there's privates or a certain color or but you don't really have to worry about that. Just try to breed them. I try to breed when I do breed. I find it most successful to breed. Take the female to the male, let him mount, get a couple of good fall offs, and then I'll try to do it again the next day. And I find I usually get the best success that way. But even just if you just get the one set of fall offs, it's probably going to be plenty fine. 12 gauge says, got to go tend to the quail, y'all. God bless. Thanks, Chris. Everyone have a great night. You too, 12 gauge. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Whiskey Tango Farm saying the same thing. You don't have to wait for them to go into heat. They have reproductive induced heat, which means that they're ready whenever a buck does his job. McKee says, S.O. Swanson, I'm doing it for a family reunion. I did it last week to see how long it would take me. My finances are limited, but my time is not. Well, there you go. I think you're talking about peeling 100 eggs or something. Yeah. Yeah, you'll get through it. You're right. You always got one or the other, right? More finances or more time. It's either one. So, could be worse. Andy Rabbit says, hello, I made it home in time to catch the last half. Yeah, you're here. Thanks. Andy, was it you that I was talking to about getting an email about getting the silver fox rabbits? I was talking about that a little bit earlier, but I couldn't remember who it was, and I think it was you. I know we've emailed, and I'll I'll know you when you send me another email, but I'm so bad at remembering everybody's name. I get mixed up when I'm not just looking at it. SO says, my dehydrator can't do anything except for jerky because the pigs in my family eat it all and demand more. Yep. Hey, get back, focus on me. There we go. Yeah, I know how that goes. I'm the pig in my family. My wife made chocolate chip cookies today, which I'm okay with chocolate chip cookies. They're, okay. But she made some for me that have walnuts in them. And now chocolate chip cookies with walnuts in them, oh, those are good. Now, regular chocolate chip cookies, I'm like, eh. But if they got walnuts in them, I'm all over them. I'll probably eat that whole bag before bed tonight. Probably not, actually. But if I can get them out of my mind, I won't. Who's that? Kramer Family Channel from Munford, Tennessee. Good to see you. Heather said, weather's a huge factor for rabbits where I live. My bucks are sterile for about 6 straight months. I can only safely breed in the winter here, so I have to supplement their lighting. Yeah, I don't ever have to supplement lighting, really. They usually do just fine without me supplementing it. I have bred and never had a problem with bucks going sterile. It can happen. It's not a guarantee. You might look at getting some, are you just assuming they're sterile or they're sterile? I mean, you don't have to answer that, but I've never actually had that problem where my bucks actually go sterile in the summertime. But anything over about 80, 85 degrees can cause bucks to go sterile temporarily. So I know your pain. I get what you're saying. I don't breed in the summer because I think it's just cruel to my rabbits. I mean, it's 100 degrees out. They got big fur coats on anyway. I don't want them to deal with all that. So I don't breed in the summer. I wait till fall or winter. Mike says, thank you for all the great info. You're absolutely welcome. Hey, there's Chris, Derry Rose Elrod from Central Arkansas. Good to see you. Says, who in your opinion makes your opinion makes okay, got double duplicated. Who in your opinion makes the best quail hutches? I do. No, I don't sell quail hutches, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't really tested out commercial quail hutches to know if there's one out there that's great or not great. I wouldn't be the one to ask about that. I looked at some at one time and they were just so pricey. I was like, I can build that and I could probably build it as good, if not better. So I built my own my own quail hutches and they turned out great. So I haven't used anything, but I thought it was you, Andy, but your email wasn't Andy. So that's why I was getting mixed up. But anyway, yeah, like I said, if you plan on making it down this way, let me know because I'll definitely be interested. And thank you for the offer, by the way. I appreciate it. S.O. Swanson says, looking forward to seeing Chris at QuailCon. Only 51 days and down to the last 2 tickets. Wow, they're selling out this year. Good. Glad to hear that. Let's see. Whiskey Tango says they love the Wynola cages. They aren't hutches technically. Also, Dale's Quail has another American family-owned company I would recommend. That's right. I did see some of his stuff at QuailCon last year, and it looked pretty good. Dale's Quail and, let's see, I didn't see Wynola cages. Hatching Time was there. And they looked all right, too. If you're going to put them in like a shed or a garage or something like that, they're like stacking cages. They're not for like just sticking outside. You'd need to build some protection around them. But they were decent. Glenn says, howdy from Southeast Missouri, 60 eggs in lockdown, 28 hatched this far. 35 went from brooder to grow out cage Tuesday. Appreciate the info. Best wishes to you and yours. Well, awesome. Congratulations with that. I'm glad to I'm glad to hear that went well. I'm seeing Chris says, sorry, my voice text is silly. That was that duplicated thing. I know what it is. It's okay. Can't wait for QuailCon. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Andy says, I feel luck. I won the hatching eggs from Terry the other day. Good grief. Nat says, I feel lucky. I won the hatching eggs from Terry live the other day. Awesome. Was that the one I was on? I was on Terry at Katernick's Corners live broadcast on Tuesday. Don't know how many of you guys made it there. Some of you may have or may not have. I couldn't see who was on there. But yeah, congratulations on winning those. I know you were looking for some quail, and I never did respond to you when you said you were looking for quail. You'd work out some trades. I don't really have any to trade right now. I just don't have that many right at the moment. I may in the near future. So if it's still an option, you want to work something out, we can see what we can do. But I don't mind paying cash for them either. All right. Yep, Wynola and Dale's Quails will both have setups at QuailCon. Oh, I did see a Wynola cage there last year, didn't I? They weren't there, but they had their cages there, I think. Mike says there's a great hunting podcast called Bear Grease that is based around the Ozarks, in case you're ever wondering or ever looking for something to listen to. Interesting. I'm based around the Ozarks. We're right at the edge of the Ozarks, so I'll check it out. Time and Timber says, built my hutches to grow for grow outs, very similar to Chris's, but mine stack. I really like them. There you go. Yep, it was the live broadcast I was on. I didn't even hear your name getting called. I would have thought I would have known that. But see, Chris says, I have a brooder box now. Can you recommend a decent incubator? we had that discussion. What's going on with my video? There we go. We had that discussion on the live broadcast the other night. The incubator I use is a little giant styrofoam incubator. It kind of depends probably on what your budget is as to what a good incubator is going to be. The reason I still use a little giant, because incubators, I've had it for like 10 years. Incubators have changed a lot. There's a whole lot more options out there right now, and I haven't really looked into them much because mine still works. I don't have any reason to get a new one. It still works. It still works great. So I don't know if there's a better option out there. I'm probably not the best one to answer that one for you and to tell you what's the best option that you can get. I do like the Hovabator. I've heard really good things about Hovabators, but then I've heard some things about they've used that wafer style thermostat, and that's apparently pretty tricky for some people. So, I mean, you're just going to have to look around. Unfortunately, I can't give you the best one. Go check out My Shire Farm, though. They did a whole series on incubators, and they tested out like several different models, and he did a breakdown of each one and said, this is what I like and what I don't like about it. That may give you a better idea than what I'm, can give you, because all I've been using for the past 10 years is my little giant styrofoam incubator. So I don't know that I mean, if that's a recommendation, I mean, I guess it could be, because 10 years I've used it. I did have one problem with it. It's been a long time ago, where the thermostat went out and the temperature spiked and got real hot. I called the company, Miller Manufacturing, told them what happened. They didn't ask me like, when did you buy this? Where did you get it? Proof of purchase, none of that. They just sent me a brand new thermostat in the mail like 2 days later, hooked it up, haven't had a problem since. So, I can say that's pretty good about Little Giants, but, and I know lots of people talk them down because they're cheap styrofoam incubators, but like I said, 10 years, it's still working. So I don't know. Dennis says, how does everyone keep from getting rubbery eggs when pickling quail eggs? Oh, I can't answer that one for you because I don't like pickled eggs. I've tried a couple of different times and I have not. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's the rubberiness. To me, they're kind of like, they resemble a pickled sausage, which I kind of do like, but it's just weird in an egg. I don't know. I just don't like them. Heather says they're definitely sterile. It's the surface of the sun here. Weather this week is an average of 111. They have enough cooling to prevent heat stroke, but not enough for reproduction. Oh, I get it. Yep, that could happen. Dennis wants to know if peeling or if boiling is the issue with them making them rubber. It could be. Good question. I don't know. I can't answer it because I don't make pickle. I've tried. Don't like them. I made a couple of different recipes. Didn't like them. Threw them out. And so I don't know. I need to go buy a t-shirt, don't I, Brandon? He's saying make sure you check out the QuailCon swag on our website. I need a shirt. Last year I just waited till I got there. I'm so bad about that. I did get my pictures in for the calendar, though, like 2 days early, 2 days from the deadline. Andy said, he said my name from the CC site, Andy Pillows. Oh, okay, that's why I didn't recognize it then. Gotcha. Yep, whiskeytangofarms.net is the website. You can get t-shirts and stickers and all kinds of stuff for QuailCon. Huh. Oh, and they liked my picks. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked them. All right, we're out of comments. I'm going to give it just a minute, let the comments catch up, and we got about 7 minutes left, it looks like. Something like that. Yep, 7 minutes. I'm just going to sit here real quiet, make it uncomfortable for everybody. Try not to, anyway. But I don't have anything to talk about. Salvador says home. I don't know what that means. Like you just got home, or is there more to it than that? I don't know. And then Brandon says, yay. I don't know what that means either. lots of just random comments. I guess you guys are stumped too, right? Hey, yay, love the silence. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. Let's see. I should have stories to tell you, huh? LOL, Chris, uncomfortable silence. Yeah, if I just sat here the whole time, that would get weird, wouldn't it? Let's see what we got. Chris, Derry Rose Elrod says, do you save the pelts from the rabbits that you harvest? No, I get asked that question a lot. No, I don't save the pelts because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, I've really never, I've tried, let's put it this way. Tanning hides is kind of an involved process. It takes time. You got to do one thing, wait for a while, do another thing, wait for a while, do another thing, kind of thing. And I've tried to pickle them or tried to tan them before, and then I usually forget about them until it's like too late, and then I just get distracted by things, I think. So I haven't really perfected tanning them. I may try again sometime soon. I don't know. It's a skill I'd like to learn. But the other thing is really when it comes to like the rabbits I'm processing are young. They're 8 weeks, 10 weeks old, something like that. They're not really good quality pelts at that point. They're awful thin. So if you want good quality pelts, if you plan on doing something, now they're fine to tan and use for like craft purposes and that kind of stuff. But if you want good quality pelts, you really need to do older rabbits that have, a full coat, a full, thicker hide to them. That's a little bit better. So no, I don't do it, but I may. If I do it, I'll film it and let you guys know how it went. Joe wants to know, how's the fishing been? Well, I've only been a couple of times and it's been okay, a little slow. We went the 5th, the day after 4th of July. Took Tuesday off work, went fishing, went down to Sugar Creek in Pineville, Missouri. Beautiful creek. It's a little low because we haven't had enough rain. It's always low this time of year though. I caught probably 7 or 8 fish on a, I don't know, it was like a 5-mile float. So it's not great, but it was okay. Nothing real big. But it was all right. Did see some bigger fish, but none of them were biting. And then we went one time before just to the Shoal Creek here in Joplin, which is really good fishing if you're ever this way. That's the place I recommend if you want a good fishing. We went to Sugar Creek because it was hot, and Sugar Creek is clear water and much better to swim in. So we did both. Anyway, where's I going with that? Went to Shoal Creek a couple of weeks before that. Like 5 or 6 fish, something like that on that float. Caught a little bigger fish there, but again, nothing great, nothing huge. It's just haven't had enough time to put much effort into it. Max is doing good. He's doing just fine, no problems. He got to chase a rabbit around the yard last night and for a long time, like chased it 4 or 5 laps before it finally got away. Usually it's just a short, they get out of the fence and they're gone, but he got to chase it quite a while. He was pretty excited. Salvador says Homemade Incorporated. I don't know what that means. And then Washington Central says support Salty Cracker. We are Legion Re. I don't know what that means either. You guys are confusing me. Dennis says, why are silver fox rabbits so special? Just asking. Yeah, I don't know that they're so special, but they're like a good pedigree New Zealand white, a good pedigree California, a good pedigree. I believe silver fox are a heritage breed. I may be wrong on that, so that may be why some people are wanting to keep them around. But they make a great meat rabbit. Some people just like them for whatever reason. I don't know that there's any super special trait on them. They do tend to be a little bit easier to handle, I think, than the New Zealand. New Zealand's can be a little temperamental, especially does. And I think the silver fox are a little bit mellower, a little bit easier to handle. They're also black. They don't have red eyes. The red eyes of the white rabbits kind of freak people out sometimes. And Brandon says silver fox were made to replace silver fox pelts and save the breed from extinction. Well, there you go. Sarahland Farm says, Dennis, are you talking about the membrane of the egg? After boiling the eggs, put them in ice water right away. Well, there you go. I think he's talking about the egg itself being rubbery, but maybe not. Chris, here's another question. Do you think a defeatherer is worth the money? I've never used one, and I can't imagine it'd work very well on quail. But maybe somebody's used it and says, yeah, it works great. Their skin is so thin and so easy to tear. I just imagine it just beat the tar out of them. But who knows? Maybe not. If you're talking about for chickens, depends on how many chickens you're raising. Those things are expensive. It'd be a lot of chickens before you make your money back, so to speak. Whiskey Tango Farms, they were on the threatened list and almost died out. So many breeders were working very hard to bring them back to their former glory. They're now only considered at risk, one level below. Really? I didn't know that because it seems like I've seen quite a few silver fox around. Sourland Farm says, I have good luck by dropping them in ice right after boiling. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it makes them a little bit easier to peel for sure. How are we doing on time? Oh, 1 minute left. Let's see if I can get through the rest of the comments real quick. Yvette says, hey, Chris, what's the hatching rate? Uh-oh, somebody threw me a $10 super chat. It was Washington Central. Thank you. Says Salty Cracker is a YouTube channel and all other platforms. I don't know what all other platforms are. I don't know what that means. But Salty Cracker's a YouTube channel, so check it out. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Let's see. Okay. Hey, Chris, what's the hatching rate from your little giant? I get 50%. Oh, if I really pay attention, you can follow my videos on how to get a better hatch rate. And if I do all that stuff, really pay attention, I can get an 80 or 90% hatch rate out of it. I'm usually averaging somewhere around 70, 75%. But that's being pretty lazy, not doing a whole lot. Whiskey Tango Farm says threatened. Their only rabbit that will stand up. Oh, they are the only rabbit with stand-up fur. Basically, if you pet them from the butt to the head backwards, their fur doesn't lay back down on its own because it's so dense. All right. Heather says, how long can you hold that face for the awkward silence? I don't know. I get uncomfortable with it. I don't know how long I could do it. I should just take a screenshot and then walk away. You guys wouldn't even know. You'd still think I was sitting here just staring at the screen. Dennis, thanks for the info. Whiskey Tango Farms. I agree. Thank you for the info. Dennis says, I may have to invest in some. I've had silver fox before. They're great rabbits. Very good investment, I think. Yeah, I know that Whiskey Tango Farms likes them. Says I could talk about silver fox and creme d'argent. I have that one all day. Yes, Dennis, they're both very sweet breeds. Silver fox are a little more outgoing and forward with their loving of their owner, but creams are also super sweet. Well, there you go. And Andy agrees with you. Let's see. Jasmine from Time and Timber says, I love this community. Thanks for always sharing so much information with us, Chris. Well, you're absolutely welcome. I agree. I love the community too. We're all such nice people, willing to help each other out. I like that, if I don't know the answer to something, usually somebody in here does, and I don't know the answer to everything. I mean, I don't know everything. There was a time in my life where you'd have been surprised to hear me say that, but I've matured and I've come to realize I'm not the smartest guy in the room. So, S. McKee says, let's see. Oh, here's an answer about the defeatherer. It says, I bought a defeatherer and I like it, but need to get a bucket with a lid to get it to not throw feathers all over the place. Yeah, that would be messy, wouldn't it? Whiskey Tango Farm says, yeah, that's where our first silver foxes were from, and one of our crims. Tiffany is amazing. Oh, somebody asking about, asking them if they've heard of Teal Stone Homestead. Yeah, I've met, I can't remember her name, from Teal Stone Homestead. I watch a couple of her videos here and there. Super nice person from what I could tell. And Whiskey Tango Farms knows her really well. Tiffany, that's her name. Yeah. She's amazing. She's become a really good friend and mentor. Well, there you go. I agreed. I met her at QuailCon last year. Super nice, very friendly. I've seen a couple of her videos that I don't sit around and watch a whole lot of videos anymore. But, she pops up in my feed sometimes and I watch some of her videos. She seems like a really good person, really good family. Hopefully she'll be at QuailCon again. We can get to know her a little bit more. All right, guys, I got to wrap this one up. It's been an hour. So, I'm going to go spend some time with my wife before bed. Already had a couple of cookies, so I don't really need to eat dinner tonight. That was my dinner, I guess. And we'll talk to you guys next week on Thursday. I don't see any reason why I can't be here. So until then, thanks, guys, for the super chats tonight. $10 from one, $5 from another. That was awesome. And we'll see you guys next week. So take care, as always. God bless.